Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. In a time of miniaturization and virtualization, music tech aficionados are craving for the bold and lavish design concepts of yesteryear. Massive synth antiques, racks full of music production artifacts and beautiful groove dinosaurs are triggering both nostalgia and anemoia in many of us. Today we are going to talk about the Roland R8 Human Rhythm Composer. This 1989 flagship drum machine with the aesthetics of a gas-guzzling BMW dashboard was Roland's definitive answer to competitors like Alesis questioning its authority in the field of high-end rhythm romplers. While many other legendary drum machines have become famous for their stylized and far from realistic sounds, the R8 had one job and one job only: put drummers out of work.
At the first glance, the R8 is ticking all the Reagan-era boxes. Big anthracite-colored enclosure, one of the better Roland displays, 16 rock-hard carpal tunnel syndrome-inducing but velocity-sensitive plastic drum pads with aftertouch, one controller and all the amenities you would expect from a late 80s top-of-the-line recording studio staple. Roland's utmost priority was to capture the human feel of a real drum performance and combine it with the relentless brutality of 80s drum sounds. Punchy kicks and toms, nuanced hi-hats and cymbals, numerous percussion samples that sit well in the mix, a few sound FX oddities, and last but not least, that snare. An 808 clap is the only classic electronic sound in the stock library. All these samples can be pitched. There are interesting decay parameters and nuance not only allows for subtle variations, but also tries to emulate real-life interaction between Homo sapiens and a drum kit. The instruments are freely assignable to 5 banks. I was surprised by the complexity of the sequencer. Up to 100 patterns with a maximum length of 99 bars can be arranged in 10 songs. Time signatures? Yes, all of them. An internal resolution of 384th notes manageable using microtiming, swing, quantization of up to 96th notes applicable to real-time recording, rolls and flams. There's step recording. You can record parameter performances. And multimode lets you play sounds chromatically. It's a shame you have to stop the sequencer each time you switch record mode. The mysterious feel parameter applies groove patterns and randomization to your compositions. As soon as you have your basic patterns ready, you are free to glue them together, merge them, extract single elements and change the start point using reframe. Song mode comes with many professional features. After indulging in the 67 stock sounds, you will want to expand the machine with ROM cards, which have become ridiculously expensive, especially the highly sought-after dance and electronic card. I had to simplify a fill in jam number 1 because I ran out of memory, so while you're at it, get a RAM card too. Manufacturers like WaveRax offer USB-compatible versions though. A thorough analysis of the dark arts of professional R8 operation is beyond the scope of this episode. There are no FX, but you can fake delays using the macro functionality MIDI implementation is extensive, and leave a comment if you ever used FSK Sync. R8 MK2s come with an extended sound library and more internal memory. I already had the rec version on the show and kinda liked it. We will carpe diem the hell out of the multiple outputs in jam number 2, and IMHO, the drum machine, is just a tiny bit overpriced.
The Roland R8 was the gold standard for programming realistic sounding drums in the late 80s and early 90s. Is there still some use for it, or are DAWs just so much better at that?
You have already heard the drum machine in today's intro tune. I'm sure that snare sold quite a few R8s back in the day. Will I ever get sick of TB3 acid jams? I think not.
I would totally use these drums on a rock record if I was in a hairspray metal band. Still, these sounds would also work in genres like big beat or hard synthwave. The R8 was designed for professional studio work and doesn't offer many features for live jams. Time to do this the old school way. It's not easy to build a whole arrangement based on the very limited stock library, but that's certainly not what Roland had in mind when they released the R8. Let's bring it back to its comfort zone and add some modern software instruments for this fancy steampunk cybersynth Twilight Wave abandoned 80s anime original soundtrack. Verdict: the R8 is regarded as the last great Roland drum machine, and I think it has become obvious why. Although instruments like the Alesis HR16 already offered somewhat realistic sounding drums, Roland set the bar pretty high when it came to emulating the real deal. For us, the humans of the future, the depth of the R8 is also its biggest weakness. Roland had to sacrifice the simplicity of the TR range, and without the necessary muscle memory and a bunch of pricey extension cards, its workflow and sound palette is surpassed by many plugins. In its original state, the R8 once again reminded me of the limitations breed creativity mantra. Or when was the last time you spent a whole week writing melodies for a go-go? Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.